Hi, this is Tom Shanahan at spiritualadrenaline.com. I'm here today at the KTD Monastery in Woodstock, New York with Lama Solstrom Yeshe. Lama, thank you so much for coming here today. You know, Buddhist tools can be very useful for overcoming trauma. And a lot of people in our audience in addiction recovery are suffering from substantial traumas in their life. How can Buddhism help them address these issues?
Well, suffering, we all know suffering. And the interesting thing is that no matter how strong physical suffering is, almost all of our suffering is in the mind. That it's not so much of what we experienced, it's what we're thinking about what we experience. And in fact, for instance, I had a traumatic childhood. And of course, I will never be traumatized as a child again in my entire life. It's impossible. The particular trauma that I had was a domineering, controlling mother that would become enraged and whip me with a belt to the point where I would sometimes be bleeding. But then it was more than that. But the point is that all of that, now what I had to do, or I should say what I had to do as an adult, was let go of what I was holding on to my mind.
But you know, letting go conceptually sounds so easy. It's one of the hardest things for me, and I think so many other people out there. So, how does the Buddha? What does he teach on this topic?
Well, what it is, Buddhism is an inner path of going inward, looking within, finding out how your mind operates, what is pushing your buttons, and so forth. Some people will talk about when they get into, let's say they lose a job, and they're out, well, oh, I need to reinvent myself. We've all heard that. We've all heard we've got to reinvent ourselves. Well, what the underlying assumption is that nobody relates to is that you're already an invention. And so the traumatized you with the fear, the self-loathing, the depression, the using alcohol or drugs or sexual addiction, buying addiction, compulsive activity, that's all an invention. And since it's an invention, it can be uninvented. And by going within and seeing how you might say the machinery works, you gain control of the machinery. No longer are you operating on impulse. You can start operating on wisdom.
And if someone comes to Buddhism and they're relatively new to it, how long does it take for them to try and begin to have some control over that impulsivity? Is it a day? Is it a year? Is it a lifetime? I mean,
it depends. It depends a lot. And a lot of it depends on how much the person is willing to put into it. Sitting meditation is a practice which allows us to let go of thoughts. And it's taming the mind so that your mind, a good way to look at it is like a dog and a squirrel. So if you have a dog and there is like a patio door there with big glass, and if there's a squirrel on the other side, boom, the dog is right at the door. With us, we're having a frightful thought, boom, it's real. And we're just like that dog. And so sitting meditation tames our mind so that we can have those frightful thoughts, those compulsive thoughts and urges and impulses, and just be with it and not react.
And this is a critical part of addiction recovery, is learning that the feelings are in fact, and learning not to respond to these impulses. And I think with technology and such a fast-paced world that we live in now, it's become even more important to tame the mind, to slow it down, and to avoid acting on impulse.
Exactly. Yep.
Thank you so much, Lama, for coming today. If you're interested in more of the interrelationship between addiction recovery and Buddhism, you can visit our website at spiritualadrenaline.com, or you can visit the KTD website at www.kagyu.org. Thank you so much again, Lama.
Thank you.